Hello, gamers. We are at the end of the BPL. And I just wanted to, quickly document my character to, show you guys how it turned out. Because this is honestly one of the coolest experiences I've had playing Path of Exile, just in general. But what's unusual about this character is even though I'm level 90, I'm pressing the G hotkey right now. And as you can see, if I quickly go to Karui Shores, I have a quest to find the tunnel to the war room and talk to Kirak. This character has not touched the Atlas at all. I have 0 maps completed. This character has exclusively been doing Heist, and that's it. Like, you can see I'm missing NPCs in my hideout. Einhar's supposed to be over here. Like, Nico's supposed to be over here. I have no mechanics whatsoever except for Heist. For the past 3 days, I have locked myself in the Rogue Harbor and have been smashing my head into contracts to try and pull shit out of Heist, and it's been a hell of a ride. It's been really, really fun. So I'm gonna quickly run a contract, and then I will talk about my build.
Seems simple enough.
One thing I have to do is I have to scour all of my contracts because this character is made to go fast and kind of do some damage. I never really got the opportunity to transition to a 0 DPS version of this.
What's the job?
But yeah, I'll just run a contract and then I'll talk about how the build came together. It's kind of a clusterfuck.
On a job like this, careful maneuvering is key. You wanna dance? Let's dance. I'll handle it. We've got a fight on our hands. No more distractions.
Alright, and some variant of that is what I've been doing for the past 3 days. Pretty much non-stop. So, let's talk about the build. The build is a clusterfuck. This is very much a extremely compromised version of what my original plan was. I am running Poisonous Concoction of Bouncing, with GMP, Greater Volley, Void Manip, Vicious Projectiles, and Cruelty. And it's Cruelty instead of Unbound Ailments because I ended up getting a 6-link armor evasion base. And it's just going to be easier to roll a red socket on that than 5 green and a blue. My helmet ended up being a Devoto's Devotion. I'm not doing any physical damage, so this is not really a downside. And it gives me move speed, chaos res, and, attack speed. A lot of armor and evasion, which is good for survivability. I was originally running an Embalmer, but I was able to transition out of that once I got my chest, so I just got a bunch of tanky stats on these gloves. I got some zoomy boots. I never really got to 30% move speed, but it's got good life on it, so that's really all that really mattered. This belt I've had equipped since like level 40-ish. This is one of the first items I equipped, and I just never really found anything better. I probably could find something, but I just didn't. Uh, and then I have this really nice shield, um, which actually is making my build somewhat worse, and I'll talk about that once I get into the passive tree. So what's odd about this poisonous concoction build is that this is a Surfcaster, not a Servant of Arakali. This league is using the Freesia Ascendancies. And that shield is kind of bad because it has a chance to avoid elemental ailments, and I'm taking Changing Seasons, which basically reads whenever you get chilled, you gain 30% action speed, which makes me very very fast. I don't even know if it popped up during that contract because that shield is actually making my build worse. But yeah, I'm taking this just to path into these two nodes. Brinebound makes it every time enemies hit me, there's a 50% chance they'll just do nothing for 1 second, which is excellent when I'm trying to get a Heist NPC to do their thing. And then for movement speed, I'm taking Ghost of the Deep. And then that combined with a whole bunch of movement speed nodes around the tree and some other fun stuff. I was taking these two minor nodes, but I wanted to path into more life, and I wanted to path into Leaf Shade, for the 100% more duration of ailments on you. That turned up the chill duration from 2 seconds to 4 seconds, which makes the move speed last longer. And overall, if I go to town, if I go into my hideout and I press my Quicksilver Flask, this gives me a movement speed value of 158%, which for 3 days, that's not bad. I'll take it. You know? That's pretty fucking good. Also worth noting is this awesome flask I crafted. It could probably be higher on the life recovery, but this is the damage value that my poisonous concoction scales off of. And then I stack poisonous concoction with Plague Bearer, and then I unleash it with an increased area of effect support, and that has really helped my damage consistency. You can't scale Plague Bearer's damage. That's a thing you cannot do. What else do I have? Oh, yes, this is really cool. All right. So, in the early league, I was really having trouble surviving in, like, scoured contracts, so I got some help from people on my BPL team to fix my build. And one thing they suggested was linking cast when damage taken to Void Sphere. Void Sphere is a spell that just creates a ball, and it drags all the enemies nearby to that ball, and it just makes it so they can't do anything. So again, that's really valuable for heisting specifically. Anything to let the heist NPC open the door is really good. Later in the league, I had the idea to link that to Culling Strike, since I realized that Void Sphere does pulsing area damage. So, Culling Strike with that, and then and then Steel Skin on there to help me survive a little bit better was really, really helpful in improving my tankiness. Here we have Shield Charge, faster attacks linked to Fortify. Fortify sometimes works if you happen to hit an enemy with your shield charge. It just makes you take less damage. That's pretty nice. And then one idea I had for the build was to take a Profane Proxy, drop the Shocking Aura for a Socketed Despair Aura, which just seriously improved my damage. I'm really, really happy with this one. And the fact that it gave Cold and Lightning res at a time when I had where is it? Yeah, Sea Legs, where overcapped cold res was giving me evasion rating, was also really, really nice. That was extremely helpful while I was getting this final version of the build online. One really nice thing about this build is the quality on Poisonous Concoction of bouncing is 20% chance to inflict Withered on hit for 2 seconds. And one of the Chaos Mastery nodes is 5% chance when you inflict Withered to inflict 15 Withered debuffs instead. So I'm stacking a lot of Withered, I'm reducing chaos resistance, and it just really switched on the damage of this build. Which is a mistake, right? The original build I was going for would drop all damage entirely and guarantee permanent uptime on self-chill via Forbidden Right. And just drop all damage and just zoom as quickly as possible. You do not need to kill anything in Heist. If you're able to Void Sphere freeze everything, you can just let the Heist NPC do things undisturbed. I never really got to the point where I transitioned out of that build because this was my first time really maining Heist as a mechanic. But I am really exceptionally happy with how this turned out. But it's not all me. One thing that's really special about BPL, let me see if I can pull this up. Yes, okay, cool. One thing that's special about BPL is that every item on trade is free, right? So my team's currency, this, in order to find items, we listed under like a bullshit price. So my team was 8,000 regret orbs. So if I search for 8,000 regret orbs, I'll find a whole list of items that I could just whisper these people for, and they would just give it to me for free because they assume, well, if he's whispering me for it, he probably needs it, right? So let's say I wanted to find a belt that is rare and has, well, the ideal belt I would try to find, right, would be, we'll go life, we'll do elemental res. Total elemental res is 35. Number of total elemental res, max 1. And then we'll do flask duration. Let's see what we find. Oh, nothing. Yeah, that's pretty specific. Okay, let's cut this. Yeah, okay, so like all of these items, like I'll sort by life. I would be very happy to have any of these, and I could whisper any of these people and just get it for free. Holy shit. That's a Stygian Vice. With life, decent cold res, and open pre... Oh god, that's a good belt. Like, all of these items are free, you know? Like, and that's really, really nice. I don't have to waste time, like, doing the trade dance and farming currency to get my build switched online. And it's a two-way street, right? When you play Heist content, you are generating all sorts of shit that go to people that are doing other things, right? Like, for example, early in the league, we were spamming contracts that would generate essences. And any essences we got went straight to the crafting team, right? And they were able to use those essences to make sick gear for everybody else in the team, and that got everybody else switched on early. What else is there? What else is there? Let me... I don't have the Heist chart memorized. Let's just pull up the wiki real quick. Right. One of the race objectives, because BPL is basically just a giant scavenger hunt, was like Harbinger beachhead maps. Right, so at one, and the way you generate those is by slamming Harbinger orbs into beaches, and sometimes you get beachheads, right? So one thing we were doing to support that was we switched over to agility contracts for a bit, and we were running blueprints that had agility rewards, and like basically unveiling the or revealing the Harbinger rooms in the blueprints, and we were just trying to generate as many Harbinger orbs as possible. There was at one point we needed a lot of sacrifice at midnight fragments, so we were running lockpicking contracts to try and generate more of those. One of the big, like, league-long goals over the entire 3 days was gems. And we generated so many 20% quality gems solely off of the counter thaumaturgy Gianna contracts we were running, just in our normal activities. And yeah, like, I mean, just the sheer amount of variety we can generate off of Heist was really cool. So basically, the flow of things was this. We had a whole bunch of people running that 0 DPS build with Queen of the Forest. They were stacking a ton of evasion, and they were running like 400% move speed. So they were just able to zoom to the end and then zoom straight out of every single contract and blueprint. I was supporting them primarily by running all of our Gianna contracts. generating reveals and then revealing their blueprints for them. And then they would go in and grab like some fancy shit. Early on, we were all doing blueprints just to like try and get levels into our rogues, but and like try to generate some of the replica uniques because all of those are worth points. But I just felt like a very extremely useful cog in this massive team of like 300 people, and that was really cool. And it looks like there's still like 6 hours left in the league, so I don't know if we are actually going to win, but it looks like we're going to win. we are behind on personal objectives, which is like the real big one right now. But we have more uniques than everybody else. We've finished all our bounties. We have more heist uniques than everyone else. We won on dailies, right? Which are basically like flash objectives. We're in a really good spot. I think we're gonna win. The next time BPL comes out, I would highly recommend playing it, right? All of the people in this massive group scavenger hunt have just been enormously helpful. During the beginning, you are expected to learn group leveling strat, which is basically like a speed run that can get any player who's paying attention to the strategies from 0 to end of campaign and ready to blast in about 4 to 5 hours. And there's room for error in that number. There are so many errors, especially with me doing it for the first time. I fell massively behind and forgot to click the lab trial in prison, right? So I had to my dumbass decided it would be a good idea to spend time walking there and doing it myself rather than having someone give me the waypoint. And I wasted like 5 minutes, and for the entire rest of the campaign leveling process, I was 10 levels behind. It was a fucking mess, but it didn't matter, right? Because people would help me clear mobs in an area until I could farm on my own for a while, and then eventually I got stable. They ended campaign at around level 60, I was like level 48. But again, that didn't matter, right? The minimum level to start running Heist is like your 40s. So as soon as like, so I chose not to kill Kitava so that I could have plus 30 all res. And I just went straight into Heist, and I started running these lower level contracts to level up my rogues, get more XP on me, and then slowly move up into the 50s, and then the 60s, and then eventually the 70s, and now at this end stage, I can comfortably run eye level 83 contracts. And none of this shit would have happened if I did not have the help of the entire team, like getting me through the rough patches as quickly as humanly possible, right? Like, I did not make any of this gear. Most of this was like either put up for free by people on trade, or like in the case of this chest specifically, it was crafted for me, right? Like someone found a nice 6-link and made this chest for me. Like I told them, hey, I'm good on resistances everywhere else, right? So I don't need the resist. Anything you can do to help my build would be really good. And they looked at my POB and they were like, all right, I got you, fam. And then they worked for 5 minutes and then they gave me this. Like, this thing is fucking crazy. The 16% chance to suppress saved like 4 passive nodes. Like originally I was up here taking like at the time it was like here to take the instinct wheel. And like that was no good. Now I'm taking this small int node in order to get to Leaf Shade. That's something different entirely. But at the time, I was not running the ascendancy node required to actually get value out of that. But like even now, that chest crafting process has saved me 3 passive points. That's crazy. That's fucking insane. So the next time BPL comes around, if you're able to, I would highly recommend setting aside a very large chunk of time to play it as much as possible. This is absolutely the most fun I've had playing Path of Exile, like, ever. And I think it's a great way to learn parts of the game that you're unfamiliar with. I was somewhat familiar with Heist, like in a very casual sense, but I never really generated much off it. I was just like, oh, I like these characters. The story is really good. The lore is really cool. There's a lot of Path of Exile 2, like, foreshadowing in it. It's really fucking cool. Um, but I never really learned how to do it correctly, and now I have that knowledge, and for each other time I play Path of Exile, like in a league start scenario, I'm going to have that knowledge going forward. And next BPL, I intend to try something that I'm completely unfamiliar with. Like, there's so many mechanics in this game that I just do not know. And I would love to take the time to learn them, right? Like, how do I generate a ton of harvest juice? Like, I know how to generate a little bit in order to, like, generate my own stuff so I can flip my resists. But, like, how do I generate a lot? I don't know. I have no fucking clue. How do you farm ultimatum? I have no fucking clue, right? I've done a little bit of blight farming. Like, I think I learned it a little bit, like, 2 leagues ago. But how do I really get into it? Is there something I can do with Rogue Exiles? I have no fucking clue. But there is absolutely going to be somebody on my team that has that insanely niche knowledge pool and is going to extremely generously take the time to teach my dumbass how to make the thing happen. And hopefully by the end of the 3-day period, I will be an expert, and then I can go forward and help someone else and spread that knowledge around. Path of Exile is an extremely complicated game. And I think private leagues like BPL are a great way to expand your knowledge of the game and just learn more about it. So if you have an opportunity to play this and you're, like, able to get the time off to make it happen, do it. Please do it. Like, it's an incredible experience. All right, I'm done talking. I have to go get ready for work. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.